Hello, welcome to Game Rating Review. My name is Jean-Marc Lejeune, and today we'll talk about Half-Life 3. Half-Life 3 doesn't exist. Yeah, it's very disappointing. I did a Let's Play of Half-Life 1. It was the first time I've ever played a Half-Life game. Then I went on to play Half-Life 2, and then realized the Half-Life 2 that I did play was Half-Life 2 Part 2, which came out on the orange box in 2007. I had no idea that these were two completely different games, but whenever I played Half-Life 2 Part 2, I thought it was okay, but Half-Life quote-unquote Part 1 is a great game and really blew me away. I'm also huge fans of the Portal games, Portal 1 and Portal 2, which if you haven't played it, stop what you're doing and go play those games. Some of the funnest puzzles that are brain scrambling at times, but very rewarding to figure out. So as I was playing these games, I could not wait to play Half-Life 3 because there was a Half-Life 3 image out there, and I thought, well, maybe it exists. After playing Half-Life 2, I really wanted to know what was happening with Half-Life 3 because I enjoyed all of these games that I've played. The Half-Life games, the Portal games. So I had to go back and research it. Where is Half-Life 3? Why doesn't it exist? How come every time I ask anyone about the Half-Life games, they talk about Half-Life 3 in these quiet whispers? Well, back in 2007 is when Half-Life 2 Part 2 came out. It was the last Half-Life game to come out. Fans were eagerly anticipating the sequel. And not only that, this was the first Half-Life game to come out on consoles. So we also had fans that weren't only in the PC realm, but also in the console realm. So I think this also expanded the audience to Half-Life in general, but not just that, but for the anticipation of Half-Life 3. Then Portal came out on the orange box with Half-Life 3 Part 2 and Team Fortress 2. People loved Portal because there were some Easter eggs saying that it was related or in the universe of Half-Life 2. But then in 2011, Portal 2 came out, which definitively showed that there was a connection between Portal universe and the Half-Life universe, that they were in the same exact universe. So people were waiting eagerly for any news that would come out about Half-Life. Then we got some concept art for Half-Life 3. People were very excited to see this, and some people think that this concept footage is even spoilery because they not only released this, but they also released character models of things that characters are going to look like. To most people, this was definitive proof that there was going to be a sequel to Half-Life 2. Not only that, this came out all the way back in 2008. We didn't really hear anything after Portal 2 in 2011. Then in 2013, we learned that Valve had filed a trademark for the logo of Half-Life 3. This very logo that I'm showing you. People were very excited, and they could not wait to see what this trademark had to do. Even if it was 2 years out, that means that we would get a Half-Life game in 2015. Well, 2015 rolls around, still no Half-Life 3. And that's the biggest debate that's going on right now. Is Half-Life 3 going to be Half-Life 2 Part 3 or Half-Life 3 just a sequel? Most people were confused, and most people blame Gabe Newell. Gabe Newell, and I'm sorry to make this comparison. Well, no, I'm not. Gabe Newell is the George Lucas of the Half-Life games. But a little bit of the inverse of what George Lucas did. George Lucas took the original 3 Star Wars movies, released them, then he changed them a little bit. But imagine instead of him making the prequels, which some people would love, he just kept working on the prequels and working on the prequels, or working on even a sequel to the Star Wars movies. And he never released them, just leaving fans there. And actually, George Lucas did this for a very long time, not releasing any Star Wars. He was done with Star Wars. He didn't really care that the fans were begging him for it. Gabe Newell is doing the same thing. At every interview, he looks like he's upset if you bring up Half-Life 3. He looks like he can't believe you're bringing this up. They've released games since then, like Left 4 Dead 1 and 2, which are, yes, very good games. And actually, there was a rumor going around that he actually took off people that were working on Half-Life 3 to work on other games, like Portal and Left 4 Dead. This is crazy talk. And now there are more people that are more interested than ever because there is a new interview that came out from Mark Laidlaw. Mark Laidlaw was actually a writer for Valve, and he was working on Half-Life 3. And he put out this great article about what Half-Life 3 was going to be about and all the plans that he was very excited about. This came out last year in July, so this piqued people's interest again. And since then, nothing. We're stuck with no Half-Life 3. Gabe Newell doesn't want to tell us anything, and there's nothing we can do about it. It's literally been 10 years of him saying it's going to come out, then him not doing it, him trolling people that it's going to come out, and then nothing happening. I mean, I had the same thing happen with Last Guardian, and I guess that's how it felt, but this game's amazing, and they're working on it, and there's resources being worked towards it, and it sucks to be teased and trolled by the video game equivalent of George Lucas and nothing happened. So, I don't know. Will Half-Life 3 ever come out? As far as the video game industry, the reporters, and everyone who's ever worked on it, everyone's kind of given up on it, except for the super fans that I found in my research. They are still hoping against hope that this game is going to come out. But no reporter, no one else says no. I mean, Valve owns Steam. They're making money hand over fist. I think that's where their priorities are right now. And they haven't made their own game in a long time. So, is this game coming out? I hope so. Do I think it's coming out? I don't think so. It feels like they get an idea, they get a few people to work on it, and then Gabe Newell goes, never mind, it's not good enough. And then they don't release it. Hopefully one day it comes out. Until that time, I guess I'll be like all the other Half-Life fanboys and just sit on my computer, constantly hitting the refresh button and hoping and scraping for any new information. Thank you for watching Game Rating Review. My name is Jean-Marc Lejean. Please hit that like, subscribe button if you like what you've seen and heard, and you have most of the information. Now do whatever you want with it. Thanks for watching and listening.